on the Fan Upstate.
Well, what change was there last night? What are we talking about? The college football playoff rankings. The newest rankings are in hot off of the press. Diesel and I have an opinion or two on some good, on some bad, and not a ton of drama quite yet, but I believe we all believe drama is on the way. Welcome in the Wire to Wire. I'm Cole Bryson. Diesel is live on location at your local Ingles market. And Diesel, you are in?
I am in Travelers Rest, 1500 Gear Highway in Travelers Rest, as a matter of fact.
Did you have to use your GPS to get there?
No, but I did have to write it on my hand.
Well, Diesel, do you have, here's the ultimate $1,000,000 question. Do you have any gift cards?
I don't know. John, do we have any gift cards to give away today? I think we do. I think we do. They're not on the table yet, but I know they're here.
How about reason number 906 as to why you should go see Diesel. Again, he is on Gear Highway, right?
That's right.
Travelers Rest, and he'll be there until about 6 o'clock today because it's a short edition of Wire to Wire because of Furman basketball. The one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, Dan Scott will have the broadcast later on tonight with Furman basketball. We have an absolute loaded show in like 2 hours and 45 minutes to fit in. I just don't know if we can do it.
I love being here on location at Ingles. It kind of makes me sad, Cole, that they're going to kick me out early for Furman basketball. But here you go, confirmation that we have those Ingles gift cards to give away. If you're watching on the stream, you see a stack of them in my hands right now. All you have to do is come by here again at 1500 Gear Highway. Say the word Tolo in my face, and I will give you one of these gift cards.
What if they give you a hug?
Then you get 3 gift cards.
Oh boy!
If you squeeze something, you can have them all.
What an incentive that is, right? To go see Diesel in Travelers Rest again. I am in the Ingles Market Studios here in Greenville. Diesel's on location. A shortened show. We have upset picks coming up at 4 o'clock. We also have Bill Bender, 522, reacting to James Franklin's press conference. In the very next segment, Melissa's moment. She did a little switcheroo on us, and she's now at 4 o'clock. We've got upset picks all show long, beginning at 4. And boy, we're going to have Furman basketball in just a few hours from now, like I said, with Dan Scott. But it is time to get to Diesel. What happened last night with the college football playoff rankings? And as you know, as the Tolos know, there's not a lot of drama at this very moment. But as the season comes to its end, we know that the drama will ensue. What was before I get to the new rankings, what was your biggest takeaway? I'll tell you what, real quick, I'll go top 5. Ohio State was 1, Indiana was 2, A&M's 3, Georgia's 4, and Texas Tech is 5. What was your immediate reaction to what you saw last night?
Shocked that A&M against South Carolina. They stay right where they were at number 3. Georgia stays at number 4. I would be willing to say that Georgia's, beat down win over Texas 35-10. Before that, a beat down win over Mississippi State. Before that, a close game against Florida. I think that was more impressive than what we saw out of Texas A&M. Sure, I mean you could argue that they're A&M's 10-0 and Georgia's 9-1, but now you're just looking simply at that win-loss column and making very surface level assessments and saying, well, 10 is more than 9, so they've got to be there. I mean, why would you not put Texas Tech or Ole Miss above Georgia because they have one extra win?
No, it's a good point. And, we all know Diesel expanding the playoffs and having these rankings. It's all about creating drama, creating clicks. That's never going to go away. But Ohio State and Indiana, 2 teams out of the Big Ten, the 1 and the 2, Texas A&M at 3, Georgia at 4, Texas Tech at 5, Ole Miss at 6, Oregon at 7, Oklahoma coming in at 8 last night, Notre Dame at 9, and Alabama at number 10. Those are the top 10. You also have the likes of Miami, Vanderbilt, Georgia Tech, Texas, Virginia, Tennessee, Mizzou, out of the ACC and SEC making up the rest of the top 25. Diesel, I think the biggest drama is around 9 and 10 with Alabama, Notre Dame. Alabama lost to Oklahoma on Saturday. And by the way, Tolos, want to hear from you at 844-326-3663. Hub City Spartanburgers text line is open. Phone lines are also open right now at this very second. Alabama, I saw a lot of people upset that they dropped below Notre Dame, Diesel. 6 spots in your mind. Do you have any issue with Notre Dame being 9, Bama being 10?
I absolutely do, because Notre Dame has had 4 opportunities to play ranked teams this year, and they're 2-2. They got beat by Miami in week number 1. They got beat by Texas A&M in week number 2. They beat Southern Cal. They beat Pitt. Neither one of those teams really all that impressive. I mean, yeah, USC was number 20 at the time, and Pitt was number 22 at the time. But come on, are you telling me that resume is better than Alabama's resume, who has beaten 1, 2, 3, 4? I'm starting to sound like LeBron James. 4 ranked teams. So they're 4-1 in their opportunities to play ranked teams. Notre Dame is 2-2. So tell me why Notre Dame is ranked higher than Alabama right now.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, I believe it'll work itself out with Alabama and Notre Dame right now. Obviously, Notre Dame's 9, Alabama's 10. But when you look at the rest of the season, Alabama's got a good shot at winning out. Notre Dame, to your point, at 8-2, they're kind of this sounds wild to say, but Notre Dame on the 19th day of November is still a team that I believe a lot of people look at, Diesel, and really don't know just how good they are. And I think that's fair. A lot of times you do know how good teams are by this point. You say, Cole, well, we're the season's almost over. You're an absolute idiot. You should know how good a team is. I think we know how good they are based on the schedule they've played. But to your point, Diesel, you go back and look. They lost the first 2 games of the year against Miami and A&M. Since then, they've beaten Purdue, beaten Oh, by the way, stop me when I say a team that's actually good. They've beaten Purdue, Arkansas, Boise State, NC State. They do have a nice win over Southern Cal, who's playing better as of late, right? Boston College, Navy, Pitt, and they have Syracuse and Stanford left. It's an ACC schedule, right?
I think the big takeaway here from Notre Dame's schedule is that they're winning, and they're winning impressively. Yeah, I mean, they had a tight game, 10-point game against USC, but for the most part, when they're winning impressively, winning by 10 points, 2 scores, 3 touchdowns, etc. Whereas Alabama, playing a tougher level of competition on a week-in, week-out basis, they're winning the games by a smaller margin. So that, to me, that's the only justification, is that Notre Dame has looked more impressive by blowing out more inferior teams, and Alabama has been, easily, I'd say easily by 1 score, 2 scores, beating tougher competition. But my problem with that, Cole, is when you shift that conversation over to the G5, and we'll get into it here in just a second, they're not applying that same logic to the G5 teams that are trying to get into the playoff.
That's interesting. I'll say this. I have heard over the year, not only this year, Diesel, but in years past, and I want to hear from you and the Tolos on this as well. I've heard this idea that there is a large amount of SEC bias involved. I'm here to tell you, and I know things are going to change between now and the final poll in a couple of weeks, right? This is not the final poll. We all know that. But I'm here to tell you, I don't see any SEC bias right now. I don't see any SEC bias. Will that change, Diesel, when the final poll comes out? Maybe so. But right now, you've got 2 Big Ten teams at 1 and 2. You've got Notre Dame, an independent, right, ahead of an SEC team that we all think is one of the best teams in college football. They lost to a really good Oklahoma team on Saturday. If the season ended today, you would have number 12, Tulane, who saw that coming, by the way, at number 5, Texas Tech. You'd have number 9, Notre Dame, at number 8, Oklahoma. Number 11, Miami, at number 6, Ole Miss. Number 10, Alabama, at number 7, Oregon. The quarterfinals, Oklahoma, Notre Dame winner versus Ohio State, who got a bye, who would get a bye. Alabama-Oregon winner versus Indiana, who would get a bye. The winner of Ole Miss-Miami would play A&M, and the winner of Tulane-Miami, whoever the 5 or the 6 is, right, would play Georgia. So they have Ohio State, Indiana, A&M, and Georgia getting a first-round bye. I don't see any SEC bias. For all the times that there has been, and again, things could change between now and the final poll, I don't see the SEC bias, especially with Alabama. Well, you say Cole or Diesel, Notre Dame's always going to have a little bit of bias too. Maybe that's the reason that they're ahead of Bama, but Alabama dropped 6 spots after losing to a really good Oklahoma team, who, by the way, is ranked 8th, also a 2-loss team.
Oklahoma is at 8 now. Where was Oklahoma last week in the play? They were at 11.
They were 11.
Yeah,
right.
Oklahoma moves from 11 to 8. Alabama drops from 4 to 10. That is a huge drop. If it's me, and I get it, it's a log jam, right? You got to slot these teams in somewhere. You can't just say, well, I think Alabama should be the number 7 team. Well, with respect to Oregon and Ole Miss and Oklahoma, who are right there, and Oklahoma just beat them, then I get it. You got to slot them in somewhere. And I know a lot of people have harsh reactions when these playoff rankings come out, but they do have some residual effect. It's not as if they're doing a blind resume comparison. They know who they're talking about here, okay? They can't just do a blind resume comparison and slot them in as if they don't know what teams are playing on a week-in, week-out basis. So, I mean, they got to slot Alabama somewhere. I would have slotted Alabama probably at 9, Notre Dame at 10. Outside of that, I don't see a tremendous problem. I just think that might be the most egregious thing inside the top 10 is the fact that Notre Dame is ranked ahead of Alabama, who's got a much, much more impressive strength of record.
You think the G5's right?
No, I don't. I think the G5 is a travesty, Cole, to have Tulane at 24 and to not even have a singular vote for James Madison. That is a travesty, to use one of Dewey's words.
Yeah. Deweyism.
Tulane, I give them a lot of credit. Whoever is putting together the scheduling for Tulane did a phenomenal job this year because they played Duke, Northwestern, and Ole Miss. They went 2-1 in that stretch, but the 2 teams that they beat, Cole, are as mediocre gets. Duke and Northwestern, a combined 10-10 between those 2 football teams. Tulane gets wins over those teams. I get it. They got a little more money in the ACC. They got a little more money in the Big Ten. But really, what does it say about your team when you beat 2 5-5 football teams from a quote-unquote higher division, and then you get blown out when you face number 13 Ole Miss, a pretty good team? You lost that game 45-10, and then you lose to a middle-of-the-road 4-4 UTSA. They just aren't there. Tulane is not there, and I don't understand. Maybe it's the fact that this committee only looks at the American Conference as the conference where the G5 contenders or the G5 participants should come out of. But I'm here to tell you, Cole, when you look at the records, when you look at how they're performing against the competition that they should be better than, James Madison looks far more impressive than Tulane does.
You know me, I'm gonna defend JMU. I like JMU. I love their coach. I think Bob Chesney's done a terrific job. We talked about him the other day, didn't we, Diesel? And I told you that he should be, getting the UCLA job or another big time job out there. So I'm not going to push back on that. James Madison, you're splitting hairs. I think is what the committee has. When you talk about the G5, don't you feel like you are having the conversation of splitting hairs between some really not minute details, but I just don't know how you decide between Tulane and JMU.
Well, the schedules are what the schedules are, right? They put these things together years in advance. James Madison, 9-1. Here we're doing a head-to-head comparison between JMU and Tulane. JMU is 9-1. Tulane has lost 2 games. When you compare Tulane, they got a stronger strength of schedule there, but they're just barely eking past their strength of schedule. And James Madison is absolutely rolling roughshod over the Sun Belt Conference. Their average margin of victory over conference teams, 24 points. I mean, they are beating the tar out of those teams. And then you look at the data, and some people put more stock in the data. But according to the S&P Plus, James Madison is the 25th best team in the country, and Tulane sits all the way down at 58.
Wow.
How can you say that the 58th best team, based on the actual data, the actual analytics, is the number 24 ranked team in the country, and you don't even throw a vote at James Madison?
That's unreal. It really is. Will it change in 2 weeks? I don't know. I don't know that it will. We'll see. On the Hub City Spartanburgers text line, Texter says from the 230, y'all got to get off that SEC bull crap. When's the last time they won the title? Well, did we defend the SEC today?
Yeah, Texter, what bull crap are you talking about?
Again, random text with no context. I don't know when we defended the SEC in this segment.
Other than saying Alabama's 4 wins over ranked teams is better than Notre Dame's 2? In what world can you justify that that's not the truth?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember us defending the SEC. Texter from the 978, let's see, says Notre Dame has beat 3 ranked teams. Navy was ranked when they played them, and Alabama has the worst loss. Talking about the Florida State loss. I think it will work itself out because somebody ahead of those teams will lose. Anyway, Trey in Kentucky says, I do not care where Notre Dame is ranked. Let's see what happens to them in the playoffs. I bet they are out in the second round. Texter says also, I think that they're taking into consideration that Notre Dame should have beaten A&M if not for an egregious missed holding call at the end of the game.
I don't think the committee puts any stock into calls that should have been made but weren't made. I don't believe that for a second here. That's like saying the committee should have put South Carolina in because you disagree with the horse collar tackle from the LSU game last year. Come on, they don't consider those things. I can guarantee you that.
It's interesting, though. I mean, I think ultimately, to the texter's point, it will work itself out. I still think Bama will get in. I mean, like, if you're an Alabama fan and if you're upset that you're below Notre Dame, what? They're 9, you're 10. Is that right? Did I say that right? You're 1. Yeah, that's right. You're 1 spot behind them. We just gave you the rest of the schedule, Diesel, for Notre Dame, and they have 2, very winnable games. Well, Alabama, same thing. You have Eastern Illinois this Saturday, and then you end the regular season at Auburn. So we can pretty much all assume that Alabama's going to end the season as a 2-loss SEC team, right? So here's the problem. Here's the issue. When you look at SEC teams, Alabama will be a 2-loss SEC team. Oklahoma's a 2-loss SEC team. Ole Miss currently is 10-1, right? Georgia currently is 9-1. And then you have A&M who's 10-0. Now, other log jams in the SEC, I think you'll start having the conversation about Vandy and Texas. Texas is now a 3-loss team. There's going to be somebody somewhere out there that argues that Texas should be in. They dropped 7 spots. They're now at 17. Texas, let's just put it out there. Texas does not deserve to be in the college football playoff, period. Now, would Diesel, the question becomes, would Vanderbilt in a world get in ahead of Alabama and Alabama be left out ahead of Vandy? I mean, can you imagine a world in which that were to happen?
God, they would riot. They would burn
2025.
They would march on Birmingham and burn the Capitol building down. Man, that's a scary thought.
But let's see. I just told you Alabama has Eastern Illinois and Auburn. Vanderbilt has Kentucky and Tennessee. It might work itself out where Tennessee, who's now number 20, I think, takes care of Vandy. That game is at Tennessee, by the way. But, Diesel, the question becomes, if Vanderbilt wins out, if they're a 2-loss team when it's all said and done, where do they go? What are you going to do? Are Vandy and Alabama both in? Because right now BYU is a 1-loss team out of the Big 12. Utah's a 2-loss team out of the Big 12. They both moved up a spot, and then you throw in Notre Dame, who's going to be right there in the middle of that logjam. Like I said a minute ago, I'll close by saying there's not a lot of drama today, but 2 weeks from now or whenever the official poll, the official rankings are released, Diesel, I think there will be some serious drama.
I do wonder here, where is the text seeing that Navy was ranked when Notre Dame beat the crap out of them? I'm not seeing anywhere that they were on any poll at any point of the season. And by the way, when you look at their schedule on ESPN.com, it shows where they were ranked at the time that they beat them. Navy wasn't ranked when Notre Dame beat them, so Notre Dame doesn't get credit for that. They were a good football team. They were 7-2 when they played, so I'm not taking that away from them. They just weren't ranked. So I would be careful what you're saying there, Texas, because that's not true.
Good to see Dan B in the stream. He says Tolo, and Dan B is probably getting excited. The Upset Picks Challenge, Diesel. Let's see, 40 minutes from right now, that bad boy is going to be open. I
don't have a clue who I'm going to pick at this point, Cole. I don't know.
It's okay. It's okay. None of us really know. We're going to make something up, though, and throw a good – see if it's – throw it at the wall and see if it sticks, right?
You think you have an idea, and then you just scroll like, oh, that one catches my eye right now. And then you're like, I'll just go with that one. And honestly, does it really matter? If you spend all this time thinking about it, think of all those people who spend all the time on their NCAA brackets. You think real hard, and you do side-by-side comparisons, and then your bracket gets blown up on the first day. Yeah, so it happens.
Stuff.
It happens. Cole, when we come back, I spent some time earlier today watching the James Franklin introductory press conference at Virginia Tech, and I'm telling you, man, if I'm a Hokies fan, I am ready to run through a wall for James Franklin. We're going to play back some of the audio, react to his opening introductory press conference. Won't really have time to get into the Q&A, but some of what Coach Franklin had to say in his introduction to Virginia Tech on the other side of the break, right here on the Fan Upstate from Gear Highway and Travelers Rest.
Coming right back.
Upstate.
1500 Gear Highway in Travelers Rest, and the lovely Melissa Level is on site. We'll get her on the show here coming up in the next hour, Cole. We're going to have to do a little bit of moving around, a little bit of finagling, but Melissa going to join us in the next hour on the show. This morning was a big day if you're a Virginia Tech Hokies fan, because they introduced James Franklin as their new head football coach. And Cole, you know, I know these speeches kind of always generally go the same way. You come in with a lot of energy, with a lot of hype. Everybody's feeling good about themselves. It's an event where everybody is there to enjoy something new and the hope of what could come with a new head football coach. But, man, when you're hiring a guy like James Franklin, and there's a lot of people that don't necessarily respect James Franklin probably as much as he deserves. They say, oh, well, he didn't get all the wins against the top 10 teams, and he was bad in certain situations. Guess what? That's not really what Virginia Tech is worried about right now. Virginia Tech is just trying to stop the bleeding. They're trying to stabilize who and what they've been as a program over the last 10 years and maybe try to finally fulfill the prophecy of what the Virginia Tech football program making their way into the ACC was always supposed to be. And, man, has that program not been a massive disappointment in the ACC? But it's about time where you got somebody coming in and you feel like you have a really, really good chance of seeing some significant improvements in that program. It's a great day to be a Hokie, wouldn't it be?
I'll tell you this. You said it. We talked about it yesterday. The key word, stability. You know, the key word is bringing a program that really just hasn't been relevant and stable to stability. I think we said it last week when these rumors were flying around, Diesel. I think this was the best hire Virginia Tech could have ever made. Obviously, hiring Frank Beamer was sensational back in the day when they did, and Frank Beamer took them to a national championship appearance. They never won the national championship, right? But this is big time, Diesel. You're talking about a guy that really did a fantastic job with stability. No, he couldn't win the big games, but, man, I don't think you could have made a better hire if you're Virginia Tech.
Well, I've joked a lot of times that Virginia Tech is not necessarily going to have to worry about James Franklin's performance against top 10 teams, because they're not going to play a lot of top 10 teams in the ACC. They are. James Franklin was brought in to add some legitimacy to this program. And that's not to say that Brent Pry was not a legitimate candidate for a head coach, but, man, he didn't come in and just make you feel like things are going to be okay. James Franklin absolutely gives you that feeling if you're a Virginia Tech fan. And I do like, and we're going to play this clip here at some point, Cole, I do like the fact that James Franklin, who was a mentor to Brent Pry as a coach, but was also coached by Brent Pry's father. So these guys have known each other for a long, long time. He did show a lot of respect to Brent Pry as he was making his way onto the podium. As a matter of fact, it was the second topic he chose to spend a little bit of time on. So let's jump in right there at that mark and listen to what Coach James Franklin in his introductory press conference earlier today had to say about the man he's replacing.
His leadership in this process. I'd like to acknowledge Brent Pry. Sorry.
Gets choked up here.
Yeah. I always say I'm not going to get emotional, but I get emotional. So, Brent Pry's a good friend. Gosh. Brent Pry's dad was my offensive coordinator in college. Gosh.
Just clap whenever there's awkward silence.
Does that not choke you up a little bit? Come on, man.
Brent's dad was my offensive coordinator in college. I've known Brent for over 30 years. Brent's first year coaching was my senior year at the Harvard of the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference, East Stroudsburg University. I know you guys are all very familiar with it. And then Brent and his family was with me at Vanderbilt all 3 years. And then I think for our first 7 years.
How many years has Allstate donated?
So I got a ton of respect for Brent and his family. I know he poured his heart and soul into this place. I know this place is better today because of Brent and the commitment that he made. So I just want to show the respect to him. I know how much coaches pour their hearts and souls into this job. And I just wanted to make sure that I gave Brent the respect that him and his family deserve. Been in this profession.
Yeah, I thought that was really, really big of him to make that, like I said, be the second thing he had to say as a new head coach.
It's important. There's no doubt. Like, we can joke about it and state nobody loved Brent Pry more than James Franklin. He got a little emotional there, and I have no problem with that. I mean, here's the reality of it, and let's just call a spade here. Brent Pry meant a lot to James Franklin. Mm-hmm. I'm sure Diesel, and I might get hate texts for saying this, but I really don't care. Brent Pry meant a lot to a lot of people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there in the coaching world that probably love and still love and think the world of Brent Pry. However, nobody, and I mean nobody, ever looked at Virginia Tech under Brent Pry and thought, oh boy, you better watch out for those guys. Oh boy, this is going to be a national contender. Oh boy, maybe they can win the conference. Look, the ACC has been top heavy with Clemson dominating the conference for a large portion of the past decade and a half. We all know that. But other than that, Diesel, it's a very winnable conference. Just ask SMU, right? And what they did in the first season, appearing in the conference title game in their first year in the conference. My point being, that's great. Woohoo. We love Brent Pry, but dude, you're replacing him. Like, okay, I respect it, but let's move on.
Texter wants to know, do you think that James Franklin took the Virginia Tech job because his contract to get his buyout had to be actively searching for another job? I don't know, Texter, what the exact stipulations and definition of actively searching for another job is, because if you're saying that if he doesn't get a job within 2 seasons, that's not actively searching anymore. I genuinely don't know the answer to that question. I mean, if he if his agent could show that he was being shopped around for opportunities and nobody was biting, Bill Belichick, then you could still say that he was actively looking for another job. It's the agents who do the majority of the work when it comes to job searches anyway, right?
Yeah. And look, you can throw out other jobs. You can throw out the Florida job. You can throw the LSU job in there as well. And we've talked about that, right? And James Franklin's interest in those jobs. But the reality is, while Virginia Tech's not a blue blood like a Florida or a LSU, you can win a lot of games at Virginia Tech and never, ever, Diesel, have the kind of pressure and politics that are involved at those other jobs. I mean, we talked about it 2 weeks ago with LSU, man.
Right. Not for a very long time. And that would be because you yourself built the expectations out of scratch. If James Franklin suddenly gets Virginia Tech back to the point where they're winning 8-9 games a year for the next 2 or 3 years, well, guess what? The expectation is now 8 or 9 wins. And the expectation is that you find a way, especially in the weak ACC, and given the way they schedule out of conference, the expectation will be to bump that to 10 wins and then to be a college football playoff contender. So the best thing about James Franklin is that the expectations will be what he builds. And that was true to some sense at Penn State. He built the expectations back to where they were. They, of course, I know that Penn State has a long and wonderful storied history in college football. But when James Franklin took that job, they were about as down as they could possibly be, and they were just happy to be out there playing football. They were just happy that the NCAA or the sheriff's department didn't shut them down.
Yeah. Which one do you want? By the way, I have every audio clip ready for you if you want to hit the rest of them.
Let's go to the third clip on being a player's coach and what accountability is going to look like under him at Virginia Tech.
For over 30 years, and I've learned a ton of lessons. Started in Division II, worked my way all the way up.
By the way, Diesel, he's a great speaker. I mean, he's just a great public speaker.
Got my first big break in the ACC. Been a head coach in the SEC, been a head coach in the Big Ten, and now obviously fortunate to have this unbelievable opportunity in the ACC at Virginia Tech. But all these experiences, all these lessons that I've learned, we're going to pour them into Virginia Tech. And I feel like it's going to put us in a really specific position to separate ourselves over a ton of different schools. There's very few head coaches that have had the experience in the SEC, in the Big Ten, and the ACC. And we're going to use all those experiences and resources for the betterment of Virginia Tech. I want to thank Penn State. I had 12 years there. It's very unusual in college football to get 12 years at a place. Most importantly, the relationships, the staff, the players. The players here at Virginia Tech are going to find out I'm a player's coach. That's what it's all about for me. That's what it always will be. Just to be very clear, though, just because I'm a player's coach doesn't mean that there won't be discipline and accountability. I'm an old school guy. I'm going to coach you hard, but I'm also going to love you hard as well. When you do something well, there's going to be nobody that's going to celebrate and show more appreciation than me, but there also will be accountability in our program every step of the way. I believe that young people have a chance to achieve their goals and their expectations, both individually and collectively, when they know how much you truly care about them. Young people want to be coached. I think there is a myth out there. I think there's a concern out there in today's major college football that you can't coach these guys. I don't think that's true. They're going to be coached hard. They're going to be developed hard, but they're going to be loved and cared for as well. I want to thank Coach B.
Yeah, that's we'll stop it right there for a second. That's interesting there, Cole. Kind of dispelling the rumor or the myth that players are just in it for themselves. They don't want to be developed. They want to be able to take their skill set where they are right now as a player to somewhere where they think they can thrive. And maybe not thrive is I want to be able to get playing time based on the type of player I am right now, not the type of player that I could be if I develop here at this location. It's sort of a double-edged sword, right? It's kind of a push-pull. It's like I want to move up somewhere with a higher profile, but if I'm only a B-level wide receiver, well, I'm not going to go somewhere with an A-level profile. If I want to go somewhere to start immediately with my skill set, I got to probably drop down to a C-level program so I can be the best guy on that field. But that's not what James Franklin believes. He doesn't believe that these players are just out there to coast.
Well, I think it depends what player you're talking about, right? And look, if you're getting those kind of guys in your program, kudos to you. That's what every coach wants. They want the guys in their program, Diesel, that are coachable, that will play hard, that don't only want to be there because of the check that hits their bank account every other week, right? They want to be there because they love the game. And maybe he's that good of a recruiter. I think, we've talked about it many, many times. There are still a lot of players out there that fit that bill. Unfortunately, the hard truth is there are also, Diesel, a lot of players out there that don't fit that bill, that only want to be there for the check, right? So it's interesting. But ultimately, I like James Franklin a lot. I love the hire. Sounds like he could run for president. He's well-spoken. I mean, he's just put together. And man, let's have some fun in the ACC. Don't you love that? You
know how we all gave Liam Cohen a hard time for mispronouncing Duval when he took the job? Duval. And he looked like a total nerd. Well, James Franklin, I'm sorry to say, did make himself look like a little bit of a nerd here where he said he can't wait to run out to what song?
1 second. Sorry.
It's okay.
Wasn't ready for that. Well, let's see.
The top players in the state of Virginia as well. And we are going to need this stadium rocking on Saturday. One of the things that was important is me and my wife, when we were making this decision, we watched your game day the last few weeks, and it was impressive. During a challenging season, I want to give Coach Montgomery a ton of credit as well. The stadium is rocking. The guys are playing hard. And that's going to be important. We're going to have a ton of recruits this weekend for an official visit, and I want them to feel the energy in our stadium. So I'm going to ask you to pack that stadium for us.
I think we need to skip ahead to the 50:08 mark, Cole, where he says he wants to run out to a certain song.
I will pull that during the break. We got to run to a break.
Yeah, it's all good.
We'll get that audio for you later. Coming up next, Daily Wires, the top headlines in sports. We'll get to that next.
or a fan phone. This is Wire to Wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson on the Fan Upstate.
A lot of daily wires.
Bzzz.
A lot of headlines is what you call them. We on this show call them daily wires. It's the buzz, as Diesel just did a great job of showing you Tolos of what's happening right now in the sports world. A wild finish between number 21 Arkansas and Winthrop. Arkansas retook the lead, with 11 seconds to go, and former Gamecock Nick Pringle got wrapped up with a Winthrop player, threw him to the court, picked him up by his jersey, and slammed him back down. Referees saw contact and fought with both players and had their technical fouls offset. 4 players were ejected for coming off of the bench onto the court. Winthrop had one more shot to win it, but Dalen Berry couldn't connect as time expired. What a wild situation that was.
It really was a great finish, great move by Nick Pringle to get the game leading score. And then things just kind of got a little ugly there for a second.
Yeah, you put former Gamecock there, and when I said that in my mind, I'm thinking, man, what a bio Nick Pringle has. Welcome to the portal era. Former Gamecock, former Alabama Crimson Tide, former Wofford Terrier. I mean, you name it. Nick Pringle now with, his 4th or 5th team, and I don't know how many years of eligibility he has left, but my goodness. The new college football playoff rankings came out. Alabama fell to number 10 after losing to Oklahoma. Diesel Bama has beaten number 4 Georgia, number 14 Vandy, number 20 Tennessee, and number 22 Missouri. The Tide are behind Oregon and Notre Dame, who have one combined top 25 win between them. Following his team's 83-66 loss to Michigan State in the Champions Classic on Tuesday night, Kentucky coach Mark Pope said his message isn't resonating with players and called the Wildcats really poorly coached. Also saying, we're far away from the team we hope and aspire to be, and we can't waste a second on trying to grow into that. Pope said, we're disappointed and discouraged and completely discombobulated right now. My goodness.
Wow, that is a brutally honest assessment of your own program, isn't it?
That's tell me how you really feel, Coach. How you really, really feel.
I don't know that I've heard a coach rip into their own team and their own performance like that before.
I wonder if he was sending a message in that, because that's an interesting statement to make after a game. Jamar Chase's 1-game suspension for spitting on Pittsburgh Steelers defensive back Jalen Ramsey was upheld Tuesday, meaning the star Bengals wide receiver can't play Sunday against the New England Patriots. Chase's appeal was heard by Jordy Nelson, who was jointly appointed by the NFL and the NFLPA. Nelson upheld the suspension. How about this, Diesel? Bryce Young was named NFC Offensive Player of the Week after his 448-yard outburst in overtime in the win against the Falcons, which broke Cam Newton's single-game franchise record among other superlatives. And with that award, he becomes the 5th Panthers player to win the weekly award this season. Wow.
Doesn't that blow your mind that through what are these teams through now? 11 games that a Panther has won it half of the weeks this season?
That's awesome. And to think that we would be telling you, Tolos, that Bryce Young broke Cam Newton's record. Didn't see that coming. LeBron James had 11 points and 12 assists in his first game back last night in his 23rd NBA season, an unprecedented 23rd NBA season, by the way. And Luka Doncic had 37 points and 10 assists in the Lakers' victory, 140-25 over the Utah Jazz on Tuesday. LeBron played 30 minutes after missing training camp in the first 14 games due to sciatica. The Upset Picks Challenge opens in 7 minutes from right now, even though we'll be talking to Melissa Level an hour early, Tolos. We want to see the text line flooding at 4 p.m. Last night, Clemson beat North Alabama 81-61, 3 Tigers in double figures last night. South Carolina easily handled Radford 87-58. Furman will tip off tonight versus Ohio Christian at 6:30 pregame with Dan Scott at 6 p.m. tonight right here on the Fan Upstate. And last one for you, speaking of SoCon basketball, Wofford plays North Florida tonight at 7, and those are your Daily Wires.
Tolos, we have a very special moment coming up in the next segment. Melissa Level, marketing director for Ingles, going to join us here on the show. And the Tolo, you naughty little Tolo, who asked to see a photo of Melissa while she was a cheerleader for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Guess what? Melissa has given me permission to add a photo of her as a cheerleader on the stream.
Wow.
So if you've always wondered what Melissa had back in the day, she's still got a lot of it too. I'm going to tell you, you need to be watching the stream in the very next segment on the show. That's coming your way next on the Fan Upstate.
Clear.
Well, just thrilled as we are every single time we're at an Ingles Market to be joined by Melissa Level, Marketing Director for Ingles Markets. And see, a challenge was laid down, and Melissa, happy to oblige. We have the texter earlier who said, we need to see what Melissa Level had when she was a cheerleader for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I had a lot more than I did then.
I need to know if that texter is in the stream. Texter, are you in the stream? We'll show this photo. She sent it to me. I didn't steal it. I didn't break into her phone or anything. She sent this to me, and I will present it on the stream when we find out that texter is in the stream. But always a blast to be joined by you live on location.
Moment.
You're a ray of sunshine every 2 weeks in our otherwise dreary lives.
Oh, please.
So we're happy
it's
to.
funny. I love the beard, though.
Thank you. The black is finally kind of washing out.
Yeah.
I was showing you my Halloween costume. No. We do appreciate Buckeye Mike for coming out to Ingles 2 weeks ago at our last event. He said he came all the way from Malden up to, we were in Greer. We're at the Greer store. Came all the way up there to hand deliver an Ohio State polo and an Ohio State hat to make the costume. Perfect. And it was fantastic.
Yeah, you looked great.
Thank you. Even the fake nipple ring.
Say, was it real? I said, was it real? Did it hurt? But I mean, I guess.
Well, it's always a blast to have Melissa here on location.
I think I see one. So
she's whoa, getting me all flustered. I've never had a cheerleader talk to me like that before. Let's get right into it. Melissa, you saw the college football playoff rankings. We spent some time in the first segment talking about it. Bama dropping 10 spots from 4 to 10 after 2 losses. Oklahoma loss, really good loss. I think they're maybe looking back on that Florida State loss and getting a little too penal against the Tide for losing that game.
I agree. Right.
So how do you feel? I've always thought that when they judge a win or a loss, they need to judge it within like a 4 or 5 week bubble. How was the team that you played performing coming into the matchup? How did they play in that matchup? And how did they play the following 2 weeks? Because what happens 6, 7, 8 weeks down the road, I don't think is very consequential at all.
Case, we'd be in the playoffs.
But they think about the college football playoff looks at things in totality.
Right.
So how do you think that they should judge that Florida State loss if they're looking at Alabama trying to decide if they ought to be in the playoff?
Well, I think they should look at it from the Florida State side and say, like, if you're going to do that, like 2 games after, since that was the first game of the season,
sure.
Then the 2 games we had 100-0 wins, right?
Yeah.
We'd be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't think it has anything to do with it. I think the people that do the playoff have something up their butt. I don't know what it is.
Oh,
it's not, I mean, I'm seriously. They're dealing with corporate money. They're dealing with political dues. I just don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair.
Melissa, hello.
Hey, Cole.
How are you?
Good. Are you good?
I'm wonderful. Appreciate you being with us as always. A couple of things real quick. Jeff is in the stream.
Oh, good.
He is ready to see the picture of you.
Hi,
now,
Jeff.
You're going to have to point it out, Diesel, because there are 800 ladies in this picture.
So, Melissa, you know this photo well.
Yes.
Okay. Where are you in this particular photo?
I am this girl with the high forehead and the chipmunk cheeks and the skinny legs.
So,
right here.
Is it down?
Directly below the L with the long hair?
Yeah, right here.
Directly below the L, back row, Jeff. So there you go. Melissa had the long hair that then came down to about your rib cage. Long hair.
Yeah, actually it was longer before that, but yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was hard to cheer with that. Yeah. And I was a tumbler. So that was
tossed you around a little bit.
That's right. I could tumble from one end zone to the other. And I used to do that every time they scored, but that wasn't enough. There wasn't enough scores.
Do you not get dizzy doing all those flips?
Nah, and I was in high heels. I did in those boots. Yeah.
That's impressive.
It would leave a mark.
Modern cheerleaders could never.
No, and I'd leave a mark now anyway. Well, I had gone to circus school. That's why I could do that. And I was
circus school.
Right.
Dewey goes to the circus a lot. He didn't go to circus school. One of our Tolos.
Yes, well, I'll tell you, I went to the circus school at Florida State. We have a high-flying circus. It's one of the few in the United States, and we traveled all over the world. But I had been in Sarasota, which is the home of Ringling Brothers Museum and the circus. And so I had a circus in high school, and I had really bad grades because I like to play a lot. And so I got a scholarship to go to the circus school. And
Okay.
I'll tell you what, a lot of things people think, oh, circus school. She ran away from home. I did run away from home to join the circus, but only for 4 years. But that you learned everything about lighting and costuming and advancing and
Yeah.
music and everything else. You only performed one semester, and then we traveled all over the world. But it was incredible. You can run any major arena, okay, or any major event after you're doing that. Pretty cool stuff.
That's fascinating stuff. Literally running away from home
To join
to
the
go
circus.
join the circus.
That's right.
You
This
know,
wasn't the carnival.
yeah. See, when I say Dewey goes to the circus, he usually walks around behind the elephants with a bucket.
Oh, that's
kind of
right.
how he.
Oh my
That's kind of how he operates.
Oh, that's bad.
So, you know, a lot has been made about, you know, the transfer portal. Do you
Right.
want to see Florida State and Mike Norvell, if he stays on as head coach, and that's a can of worms we can open up with another question.
Right.
Would you rather see them just kind of keep going down this pathway of portal quarterback, or do you want to see Mike Norvell kind of adapt a little more towards, not all the way, but a little more towards the Dabo Sweeney style, which is get your guys out of high school, coach those guys up, stay loyal to those guys? Or
Well,
does it matter to you?
I would rather have the loyalty.
Okay.
Because you build a team over the time frame. When you're going from school to school to school, it's just not good for the college because you're never going to have a consistent quarterback. What we had was in our winning season, was the accumulation of a lot of that. You had the portal, you had the NIL, but you also had people that had been with our team, right? And they knew the structure and they knew the system. I don't think you ever really knew that. Now, I don't think Castellanos was completely a portal quarterback. I think that was somebody that he also really thought would fit well in our system, right?
Yeah, he's also a lot better than DJU.
Oh yeah. But that was a portal quarterback. Okay, I think DJ, I really do think was it, but I think Castellanos was in the portal, but it was an opportunity to be able to have somebody good like that. I mean, he ripped us apart when he was at Boston College.
Sure.
Okay, and so, but I think that the whole idea for me would be saving college football and bringing it back to where you stay in one. I mean, I don't mind NIL. I don't mind getting paid. I don't even mind the portal. But please, let's do something that makes them stay more than a year. Okay, I just don't like that. Okay, I like that because they keep getting the highest bidder and the highest bidder and the highest bidder. It's not good for them. It's not good for the colleges. Make them have to pay back or something. Do something.
And I think the goal should be overwhelmingly incentivize guys to come back year over year rather than punish them for wanting to leave.
Exactly.
Because if you give somebody the opportunity to benefit themselves by staying longer,
right,
they'll do that rather than running around looking for anybody that'll take them.
Right, exactly. And I think that if you have that incentive that this is what we're going to do, maybe there's a pay system, a pay grade that you get some of those NIL benefits, at the beginning, and they increase over each year that you play with the team, protection from injury, those kind of things. I just think, if you get injured, you're not going to get transferred out or
sure.
I just think those are important. And I think you're right about doing that. I think it's critical to college football that we have players that stay. It tears apart the locker room if you don't. The fans are going to come one way or the other, but I just don't think I think you're going to have the same teams doing the same thing every year.
Hey, Melissa, speaking of loyalty, one of our loyal Tolos, Dalvin, calls the show. I mean, you talk about loyalty every single Wednesday at 4 o'clock when the Upset Picks Challenge opens. By the way, the Upset Picks Challenge is open, Tolos, 844-326-3663. Melissa, I want you do have yours. I want you to meet Delvin, who is on the phone. He's been hanging on for a few minutes now. Delvin wants to give his upset pick. Delvin, say hey to Melissa.
Hey, Melissa, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Delvin. How are you?
I'm doing good. I hate to do this to you, but I'm going with NC State plus 1.5 over Florida.
My goodness.
That doesn't make a very good first impression. If this was speed dating, I'd think
that was not playing. Melissa. We apologize.
Listen, you know what? If I was smart, I'd probably do the same thing, but I'm not going to. I just can't do it. But I am going to take Florida over Tennessee.
Oh, that's good stuff. Thanks, Delvin. Good luck to you.
Man, Delvin with a timely gut punch. Way to go, Delvin.
Is that yours too, Melissa?
Yeah, Florida over Tennessee.
Oh my
Ooh.
gosh.
You haven't taken Florida over Tennessee. It's at home, Florida.
No. I meant Florida State. You don't want to.
Oh,
want to take
Yeah,
NC State.
I kind of in the back of my pit of my stomach in the wrong place agree with him, but I can't. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. And NC State isn't NC State, but it is there. It's away. That's a great environment to go play. They have a great fan base. It's going to be a good game. It depends on if they take their schizophrenia medicine or not, because it's 1 week they're bad, 1 week they're good, 1 week they're bad. So whoever is on their meds is going to do well.
Does it make you a bad team to pick against your team in the Upset Picks Challenge?
It does if you're going to bet on them.
Well, good thing is there's no prize. The winner gets a whole lot of nothing, so you can feel totally fine doing that.
If I had any kind of influence and I could do anything, I just don't think anybody should really do that.
Melissa, do you feel like Florida State's in a similar situation that South Carolina's in with it being a bad season, not sure on your head coach, but maybe this year is not the time to fire your head coach with all of the other vacancies out there?
I agree with you, Cole. I think, they at the beginning of this whole mess, I would have said, get rid of him. I'm tired of it. We've been up and down. But I really believe that if he can get a team and build it like he had before, and what we were just talking about, get some incentives for them to stay, I think he's a great coach. And the players love him. They really do. He's a player's coach. He works the portal well. He works NIL well. His heart is there. I think maybe we give it another year. Okay, because it's not going to do us any good to try to get out there and find a coach that's decent right now. Okay, because you're fighting huge programs, right, with the same kind of tradition and elitism that Florida State has, right?
Yeah. Would you say the exact same thing about South Carolina and Shane Beamer? Things have not gone well for him. OC hire is pending. Defense hasn't been phenomenal this year, but there's still a lot of good feelings about Shane Beamer in Columbia, even though overall the results aren't there.
Yeah, I mean, I remember back a few years ago when Shane Beamer was kicking a hole in the wall because they didn't have a good kicker, right? So I mean, I feel the same way. I like Shane Beamer and I like his family, right? And he comes from a rich tradition of really incredible coaches, and so I give it a will. I give it a wait.
That's fair.
Maybe wait, because you want your coach to be elite that comes in if you're going to do that. What's that?
Cole's dropping the audio of Shane Beamer saying, I was frustrated and I kicked something I shouldn't have kicked.
You said it.
Well, I told him that he should. He
needs to stop kicking coolers and start kicking ass.
And remember when Florida couldn't get a kicker? I said he should try out for Clemson kicking. Remember that? I thought that was good. So that's what I was thinking. But I mean, I remember. I mean, listen, the passion is there, right? Okay, that's part of the battle.
Hey, that's a fan base that shows. I mean, I was down at the Oklahoma game.
Right.
Guys, about 3 weeks ago now. I mean, I think most people figured that South Carolina was going to lose that game, but those fans showed up. It was 95% full in an 80,000 plus seat stadium.
Yeah.
When you're having a bad season and those fans show up, that's commendable.
And that says something about the whole program. And that's why you just keep. Listen, we can start going to. You need a coaches portal. Wouldn't that be cool? A coaches portal, just like that. So you start pulling coaches every year. You're going to have a bad year. It's like nothing ever happens. Give it some time. Let it build. Bobby Bowden wasn't a terrific coach at the very first it started. Florida State just played everybody and lost to almost everybody. It wasn't until they beat Nebraska that first time that they realized that they could beat an elite team. And I want him to believe that they can win. Okay. And I think that's another big part of the battle. He needs to, with confidence, realize that he can win, and with confidence realize that if he does win, that the NCAA is still going to put him in the place where he needs to be. Okay,
Melissa, we didn't intend for it to turn into this, but you're just loved by so many Tolos out there. TA wants to chat with you.
Is he going to break my heart
State.
too?
I don't think so. TA, you there, man?
I'm here. I'm just wondering, where do you find women like this at? that know all about sports, that can talk to you about coaching changes, that can talk to you about spreads, that can just talk to you about football in general.
Well,
and we like men.
Well, this one, sorry, TA, this one's taken. This one just got married.
Just got married. But you know what? I've been a sports fan since I was a little girl. When my granddaddy taught me how to keep score for baseball, and it sort of made that connection. And I've just always been, and of course, I loved my time cheering and everything. I just love sports. I love the feeling of it, not just the game. I learned about the game from John Madden. You know,
Ah.
I read the
Yeah.
book 1 Knee Equals 2 Feet. That was his first book that I had, and I
Wow.
just learned about that, and I love the X's and O's and all that, and I just really got into it. I just something I had fun to do.
Yeah, well, I just want to tell you, you're doing a fantastic job. I'll take Florida State and the point. And I like the way you want to give a coach like one more year. I like that because like James Franklin at Penn State, they've been giving him an extra year for
Right.
a couple of years, and he ends up at Virginia Tech
Right.
today.
Big move, huh?
And I think, yeah, great big move and tremendous for Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
I would swap, no offense against Shane Beamer, but I would swap James Franklin for Shane
Right. I
Beamer.
mean, that's just a totally different league of coaches. And you know, and so much time too, the coach is not the real problem. Okay. I keep just saying to people, you know what? These players are making money now.
Yeah.
Why don't we put the blame
Ooh.
where it goes?
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I don't do my
Thank
job,
you.
okay. If I
Thank
don't do
you.
my job, I'm going to get fired.
And administrators too. I mean, these are the
Right.
guys that are in the shadows,
And the
That
ADs
are
and
controlling the money and controlling a lot of
right.
high-powered decisions. But
Mhm.
most people don't know their names. They just say fire the coach.
Right, our alumni, big
Yeah.
donors, all that other thing. But I think you know what? When you became a paid player, okay,
Yep.
you don't get to just go in the portal and go someplace else when your team isn't doing good.
Tell
Okay,
them,
you get
Melissa.
fired.
I'm with you.
I love it.
I'm with you. Hey, by the way, Melissa, before we forget, and we'll get your, well, we've already gotten your upset pick, but on the fanupstate.com today at
Mhm.
3:00, it was released an article. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because you're heavily involved with it, and Ingles Markets is.
Right.
But Burns basketball to air on the Fan Upstate in 2025.
Isn't that great? Uh-huh.
Isn't that fantastic?
That's fantastic. I listened to it on the
Start
fan the other
spreading
day.
the
It's great.
news.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's terrific. And
We
you
already
do
air
such
football.
you also do such a great job at Burns. We sponsored that show, that game call with you, and you do a terrific job.
Well,
Well-
we appreciate it. We love that the football broadcasts are so much fun, but adding basketball,
Basketball
we're
is gonna
so
be great.
excited.
I know,
So
and
excited.
and that's so many more shows too, and it's such a great opportunity to people to get to know what Burns has in basketball. I think basketball is sort of this overlooked sport on broadcasting.
That's right.
Melissa, so we had a little bit of a controversy yesterday. Tom in Somerville called in. I don't know if you ever
Mhm.
listened to the show and caught Tom. He
Right.
speaks in all caps.
I know.
Oh, she
Yes,
knows.
I know.
So
I
Tom
just love
was
that.
upset that he couldn't pick last night's Maction game in the
Mm,
upset picks challenge. So
right. Well,
uh,
why? I mean,
you're going to get a ton of votes here. So tradition says upset picks challenge starts Wednesday
that's right.
at 4:00.
Right. Mhm.
But now, obviously, with these conferences selling out to the almighty dollar, they're playing at 10 a.m. on Monday mornings for some weird
or
reason.
12 p.m. or 12 a.m. on. Yeah, right.
The question is, do you think we should break tradition of Wednesday start to the upset picks challenge and incorporate those Tuesday Maction games so we can start the upset picks challenge on Tuesdays?
Well, this is my thought about that. If you do it Wednesday, it's still going to be okay. Are you talking about the Wednesday before, Tuesday night before?
Correct.
Oh no, I don't think
So
you
we
should.
so
No.
so it started today at 4:00.
Yep.
Started 20 minutes ago.
So you want to pick the one that was the
This
night
would have
before
started
that.
yesterday.
Right.
Yeah, we
No.
would have had to start it yesterday.
No,
No.
I don't agree.
So, yeah,
No.
you don't get those games.
No.
You know, plus Fun Belt action is better than Maction, right?
Right.
I'm with
it does-
Melissa.
I don't like it. I
There
don't
you
like
go.
that. I mean, and I don't. The person we're gonna say, can I pick the one that played yesterday? Because I might do better with.
Reject modernity, prop up tradition. That's what Melissa says.
I am all about tradition. You know what? I am. If you think about all the things I've said about all college football, I am about tradition.
Mhm.
Tradition is really the way I think it should stay. Yeah,
Hey,
it's-
Melissa, a tease for our next segment before we let you go. In the very next segment, we're talking Lane Kiffin. I want to
Ah,
know from you,
I
should
love.
Lane Kiffin stay at Ole Miss or should he go to LSU or Florida?
You know, I hate to think that I would have to play against him. You know, his daddy started the Tampa 2. Great defensive mind. I think Lane is a good coach. Okay, I don't think that he has been where he wants to be yet.
Ooh.
I think it's LSU is where he wants to go.
Mm.
I think it's always been where he's wanted to go. So he's kind of made those stepping stone things. He probably needs to stay another year so he can get some credibility as somebody that doesn't go flop, 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 you know,
Well, would you want to sign up to have that weirdo governor in your back pocket all the time?
I think
No.
LSU is a great program though.
It
And it
is.
is a lot of fun. But I love Ole Miss. My daddy went to Ole Miss. There's a hall named after my father.
Wow.
Level Hall. Yeah,
No way.
yeah. He was went to college when he was 14 years old. He was a genius,
Oh.
and so they put him in the
I
football.
did too. Oh, no.
Did you?
This-
Yeah, I heard that about you.
this-
He it took you-
Non-card
no,
carrying
you-
member of Mensa called
no,
Rising.
you went to college for 14 years.
5, Melissa. 5. Thank you.
No, but-
FIVE.
no, but they put him in the football dorm, okay, and he did all their college work, okay, and so that the hall that used to be football was something else now, but it's called Level Hall. You can look it up on the web.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
What's your favorite level in Level Hall?
The what level?
Yeah, first level, second level,
I've
third
never
level.
been there. I don't know.
Oh, you've never been.
Probably the one with all the football players.
Melissa, before we let you go,
I like Lane Kiffin though. I think he's going to stay another year though.
we just yesterday wrapped up promoting the Goodfellows food drive, something
yes.
that Ingalls
be
has
doing
been
that. Mhm.
really involved with. Tell us, kind of how important it is for Ingalls to be involved with that, and if maybe it's a little early since it just ended
Mhm,
yesterday,
right.
right? But can you give us a sense of how well it went this year?
Well, I know that it went really well as far as the icon sales, and thank you so much, Upstate, for helping this organization. Post 3 is incredible, and what they do every Christmas with these food boxes, and so it was. I think it went really well. Ingalls loves doing things like this. This is really, we're a grocery store. We're a community advocate that's also a grocery store, I guess I could say.
Mm.
We feel like there's so many things in our community, people that we work with, we go to church with them, we go to school with them, if they keep us going, right? And so why not? And we found that people that give are the best people that, have needed help in the past, and now they're becoming
Sure.
givers. So thank you for your help with all of
Of
that
course,
too.
of course.
That's
It's always
awesome.
our pleasure to be a part of it every
Mhm.
year, and the good news is it just keeps growing.
I know. It's
Yeah.
going to be fun.
It is. Look forward to it, Melissa. You're the best. Love you as always. Appreciate you taking time to hop on with us.
Bye. Thank you.
That
you
is
go.
Melissa Level of Ingalls. We dive right back into it, though, Tolos. Want to hear from you as we get into the absolute latest on Lane Kiffin. The old song, Should I Stay or Should I Go? Where is Lane Kiffin going to go, and when is he going to decide? That's next.
Wire to Wire with Cole, Bryson, and Diesel on the Fan Upstate.
Tolos, remember the Upset Picks Challenge is open. It's up and rolling, and we need picks from you. We're going to take a deep dive into the Upset Picks Challenge coming up at 5 p.m. in about 30 minutes from now. But in the meantime, get them in at 844-326-3663. Diesel is live at Ingles Markets on Gear Highway and Travelers Rest. Do you have some gift cards still available, Diesel, for Tolos?
I do. I've got 4 more of them left. We had a guy stop in earlier who way back in the day on our sister station 93.3 The Planet used to go by The Raven. And he stopped by, and he's working just up the road. So he came into Ingles to grab some lunch today, saw a station vehicle show up. He said, maybe I'll hang out a little bit and see who's going to come out. And lo and behold, we know each other.
Diesel, let's get into this. I teased it with Melissa Level in the very last segment, and Tolos want to hear from you at 844-326-3663 on Lane Kiffin. There is a report that about a week ago, Lane Kiffin was on record and said that he was genuinely torn. It seemed as if, Diesel, there was an internal struggle with a difficult decision looming, remaining in a place that's brought you so much happiness and success, right? 54 wins, a more healthy lifestyle, reuniting with his kids, or do you leave for a historic powerhouse, LSU or Florida, that you may have dreamed as coaching at as a kid? I think one interesting variable, Diesel, about this entire Lane Kiffin story is the simple life lesson of sometimes the grass just isn't always greener. And I know you might say, Cole, you're an idiot. It's Gainesville. It's Baton Rouge. You can't not go there. You can't turn them down. But I don't know, man. I just don't know, Diesel. I feel as if Lane Kiffin is truly torn because he knows that he's in a better spot in his life than he's ever been in. And while Oxford, Mississippi might not be the sexiest place on earth for recruits, I think Lane fears going back to a lifestyle and a world in which he came from. And I don't know if he wants to take that venture right now.
Well, Lane Kiffin, he's got a tumultuous history, got a tumultuous career. As a matter of fact, there's a new ESPN film about that. And I got push notification for it earlier today. And they were showing the clips of when Lane Kiffin decided to leave Tennessee. I think that's when he headed back to Southern Cal, if I'm not mistaken. And they were burning mattresses. They were burning Lane in effigy. I got to tell you, I don't care how excited you are to go take a new job. That's got to hurt. That's got to hurt to know that they hate you so much because of what you thought was just a decision to better my family, in a career stepping stone. That's got to hurt. And that's got to be one of those things that maybe, I would think it would inform Lane's decision-making process later on in his career. And it sort of begs the question, what kind of coach are you? What kind of person are you? Would you rather walk into a situation where, in theory, it's going to be easier? Florida, LSU, where in theory you're going to have considerably more NIL money, and the history of that place is going to make it easier for you to win. I got a little heads up for you. History doesn't matter anymore. We're in a new era of history in the NIL era. So I think there's a reset button that's been pressed on that. Florida and LSU haven't done jack in the new NIL era of college football. But the question is, would you rather join a team that is already established, or would you rather be the person who establishes something great? And that's what he's doing right now at Ole Miss.
It is what he's doing. And I think, Diesel, I think when you talk about this scenario, when you talk about this conversation, a lot of people are making it about football, right? A lot of people are making it about money. And I'm not saying that those aren't variables. I'm just saying that I believe there's so much more to it with Lane Kiffin, because Kiffin acknowledged that he never grew up believing that Ole Miss, tucked in a tiny town in northern Mississippi, would be the final chapter of his career, right? he knew, and he's always known in his heart of hearts, Diesel, that he's meant for the biggest stage. Now, he also knows that there is risk involved with leaving Ole Miss to go to a LSU, to a Florida, even though those are blue blood programs. Guess what? Florida just fired their coach. Guess what? LSU just fired their coach. Now, you say, well, Cole, money's definitely got to be a factor. I'm here to tell you, I don't think it's a factor one bit. I don't believe money is a factor one bit, Diesel, and here's why. Lane Kiffin, number one's already filthy rich. Number two, let's say Lane Kiffin goes to LSU or Florida and it doesn't work out and gets fired.
Mm-hmm. He's
going to be even filthy richer. He's going to be fine. The buyout's going to be astronomical, right? So I'm here to tell you, I don't believe money's a factor in this decision. I know money's always money's there, right? But in my mind, once you reach a certain level of success and financial status that Lane Kiffin has already reached, Diesel, I just don't know that money's a big factor in this next job, whether it's at Florida or at LSU. I told you a couple of weeks ago, I believe that when Lane Kiffin lays his head down on the pillow at night, there's still that bug, that itching. There's just something still. You do it, Diesel. We all have dream jobs. I mean, there's always, we all have these jobs and opportunities. We'd say, man, what if one day? You just can't convince me, even though Ole Miss, to your point, is in the process of building something special.
Yeah.
You just can't convince me that when he goes to bed at night, that's still not nagging at him.
Well, it depends on what his goal here is. Lane Kiffin, by the way, base salary $9 million, $2.6 million in bonuses, depending on what he achieves over the course of the season. So he could be making $11.5 million. What would he be making if he was at LSU? He might be making 10.5 as his base salary, maybe 11 if they're willing to, go all in to get Lane Kiffin. I would argue, though, that you said he wanted to be on the biggest stage. I'd argue that he's already on the biggest stage. I mean, the SEC is the biggest stage. He is there, right? And I would say that where he's got this program right now is right there at the brink of what he's worked his entire career to achieve. And if you take the job at LSU or you take the job at Florida, sure, you might jump back to where you are right now with Ole Miss within a year or two, but is it worth the risk to risk what you already have to go chase that little bit extra?
Well,
which is national titles in a traditionally big market.
It might be worth it, Diesel. To your point, if he feels like he can go do what Urban Meyer did, if he can go feel like he can do what Nick Saban did, where he takes the program for where Ole Miss is now to year in and year out the next dynasty, right? The next dynasty of college football. But you know what's wild to think about this entire scenario? And don't get me wrong, I love Lane Kiffin. I do love Lane Kiffin. I think he's a fantastic coach. I think he's a player's coach, and I think he's a heck of a recruiter. But you know what's wild? And maybe this won't be the most popular take. Lane Kiffin might be the only coach in America who's both underrated and overhyped at the same time. Because how many national titles has Lane Kiffin won?
0.
Oh, okay. How many national titles has Lane Kiffin played for?
0.
Oh, okay. Have you ever heard of a guy named Dan Lanning or Ryan Day or Dabo Swinney or, all these other coaches out there who have won? Kirby Smart. Have you heard of that guy? I'm just saying, it is a little bit wild to me, and I'm not dissing on Lane Kiffin, Diesel, but it's a little bit wild to me that we're talking about this guy like he's the next coming of Christ, yet he's never won a championship. He hasn't. And I know you say, well, Cole, you go win a championship at Ole Miss. But, Diesel, we're talking about him like he's above Kirby, above Dabo, above Dan Lanning. And the fact of the matter is he's simply not right now.
Well, if by that logic, Dabo and Kirby Smart, they ought to be making $25, $30 million a year to coach, and Lane Kiffin ought to be making $2 million, right? You should get that gigantic payout. when you've won a national championship. Ole Miss hadn't even made the playoff yet, and they're talking about throwing this kind of money at them. So all this is nonsense. All of it is silly season. All of it is how much can we pay to try to get the guy who might one day get us to where we want to be. Like it's nuts the kind of money these programs are throwing around on guys that have never actually won the thing that you should be getting that kind of money that you've already done.
Yeah. And you know what it is? It's the NFL quarterback model, right? Where we're paying a guy, and it's not always the case, Diesel, in the NFL, but it's similar to a lot of instances, not just with the NFL quarterback, but with players in the NFL, where they get these tremendous paydays before they're really proven. And I'm not saying Lane Kiffin doesn't deserve it. I'm not saying Lane Kiffin's not the guy or can't be the guy. I will tell you this. If Lane Kiffin had an LSU logo or a Florida logo on his visor, I believe he would win national titles, period. However, he hadn't yet. Well, and just like quarterbacks, Diesel, that get paid millions in the NFL, he's expected to produce before he's actually produced.
If I'm Lane Kiffin, the thing that is going to get me to make a decision either way isn't how much are you going to pay me. It's how much support are you going to put around me? How much are you going to give me to pay my staff? How much are you going to give me to get the absolute best of the best out of the portal? Like, are you going to pay me at the level that I can spend what Ohio State is spending, that I can spend what Texas and Texas A&M and out of nowhere Texas Tech this year are spending? Are you going to give me what is the number even this year, the highest paid roster? Haven't I heard it was somewhere around like $40 million? Are you going to give me 60? Yeah, but it's all going to one guy. That's the problem. Last year it was $25 million in Ohio State. I know the number has gone up this year. I just can't recall off the top of my head. Let's just say it's 30.
It's Texas at 35,
okay.
I believe.
Are you going to give me 50? If you can give me 50, I'm yours. But outside of that, what do I need an extra $2 million a year for? Yeah, you and I and those of us who are Joes who work for a living will say, yeah, we'll take the extra $2.5 million. But when you've already got a net worth of tens of millions of dollars or 20s or $30 million, like it doesn't matter. It's something for the accountant to figure out, in a way, and this is a problem I'd love to have. It's a burden for them to try to figure out how to get me into a lower tax bracket. It really doesn't change my lifestyle one bit. And that goes back to the argument we had about PGA golfers going off to live and taking the guaranteed money. It doesn't change my lifestyle. I've already got a beautiful house and everything I could ever possibly want. 16 bass boats, one for a different, for a different day of the month to go out there and fish on. What does it matter if you're giving me, $10 million a year versus $15 million a year? It doesn't matter. Lane Kiffin is going to have to enter that self-actualization part of his career, and that means winning championships. Can you give me what it takes to win championships?
And that's why I close with this. I do believe, Diesel, that Lane Kiffin, if he leaves Ole Miss, it'll be something that he regrets for the rest of his life. I really do. I'm not saying it wouldn't work out at LSU, not saying it wouldn't work out at Florida, but I'm just telling you, man, sometimes you water the grass where you are and things might happen. Ole Miss could become, to your point, you said this a few minutes ago, Ole Miss could become the next blue blood, but we'll see. We'll see what greed's a crazy thing. And that,
speaking of coaches and how much you're going to pay him to move, Cole, I don't know why nobody to this point has offered this next coach we're about to hear from anything he wants, because by God, I would run through a wall for this coach. We'll have this clip of audio, react to it next on the Fan Upstate. You know, Cole, there was an old song that went, "There's something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear." And I can't figure out why so many Tolos are getting in and taking Nebraska plus 9.5 over Penn State. Tolo Steve, Keith in TR, John Corley, John Dog, Boomer Bill, Ty Duncan. Let's see, Mason Brew, JT and Greer. That's more than half of the picks so far in total, Cole.
Wow.
Are taking Nebraska over Penn State. Can somebody let me know what's going on? I'm trying to feverishly search all over the internet to figure out, did Penn State's second-string quarterback go down or something? I can't figure out why. This is such a popular pick at the moment, but it is. Tolos 844-326-3663. Give us your upset picks for week number 13. And Cole, a coach who just got his team inside the top 25, you would think would be pretty excited about that, right? Pretty jazzed up guy. Well, John Summerall, former coach at Troy, now is at Tulane, has his Green Wave football team as the number 24 team in the country, but even he doesn't think too highly of his own squad. Listen to this.
Do you feel like your team is one of the top 25 teams in the country currently?
I don't know. You know, I haven't watched that many other people play. I watch us play, and I watch whoever get ready to play. And then after that, I don't really know who else is out there. I mean, I'll just be very candid. There's some days I feel like we're one of the bottom 25 teams in the country watching us play. So, you know, if we want to start feeling comfortable or casual about somebody wanting to vote us in the top 25 teams, there must be a lot of bad football going on if we're in the top 25 teams. So, I mean, there must be some really bad football played right now in college football. So, I don't know. We're average. We're an average team. We get every 6 or 7 days, depending on the schedule of the week, to promote ourselves or embarrass ourselves. We've done that before. So we better get ready to play. I watched this practice today. I think we're average.
Whoa, that is some strong sending a message through the media right there. Don't get too high on yourselves, boys. We are an average football team.
You know, it's a double-edged sword saying what he said. I don't have a problem with what he said if he's truly, to your point, Diesel, trying to send a message to the team. However, I don't know that that's how you want your head coach. I
love it.
I
love it.
I think you want to be trying to build your team and you know, go to bat for your team and say, I truly do believe these guys are one of the best top 20 or one of the best 25 teams in the country. I truly do believe that we've got what it takes to go win a national championship. Not, well, I don't know if we're good enough. I hadn't really won. Diesel, I don't love it.
He's just telling the truth, man. Like, no, we don't want people to lie. We don't want people to lie.
You've got to represent the brand.
It's not even believing an invalid truth. That would just be a flat out lie.
Oh,
I love it. I think it's incredibly motivating to a team that's listening to their head coach say, you know what, we still have a lot of problems. There's a bad football out there if we're the 24th best team in the country. Come on, man. I want to coach as a fan. I want that guy on my sideline. And how come South Carolina hasn't thrown $10 million at that guy? How come Florida is so wrapped up in the Lane Kiffin sweepstakes they can't see a really good head coach right there in front of their faces? I mean, if you're LSU, he's just down the road. He's 45 minutes away.
But what if you're the AD, and the AD's job is to hire somebody who's supposed to make this team better, and you've got your head coach saying, oh, I don't think we're really that good. Well, coach, why aren't you that good? Isn't that your job to make sure that you're that good? Isn't that what I hired you to do? Isn't that why you're here?
Tolos, what do you think? Do you think John Summerall is out of line, or do you think he's spitting straight facts and motivating his team? I didn't think that we would be this on opposite sides of this conversation.
Yeah, we're opposite. I mean, polar opposite. Diesel, you mentioned it a few minutes ago. We did not get to take a deep dive at 4 because we had the one and the only Melissa Level in Melissa's Moment. She was awesome as always. But in the very next segment, we're taking our deep dive into the Upset Picks Challenge. We've had a pretty good turnout thus far on the Hub City Spartanburgers text line, but we're calling for 30 entries. In the very next segment, Diesel and I, we'll see if we can scrounge our upset pick together and see if we can both make it 2 weeks in a row. Tolos, get your upset pick in right now. 844-326-3663.
Get your upset picks in now. Oh.
For those that don't know, Dewey called Diesel during the break just now, and I put him on hold, and then I went back to him and I said, Dewey, do you want to bring us in from the intro? Lead us in from commercial break. And that was him bringing it in.
Wow.
I don't know. How do you rate that? Subpar?
0.5 out of 10, Dewey. Try harder.
I did. I didn't have rehearsal time. I've been drinking.
One more time. Do you want one more shot at it? With the intro still playing?
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
Get your upset picks in now because there's going to be prizes and more prizes. Oh,
oh my gosh.
It's not going to be prizes, but A for effort, Dewey. A for effort.
It's more of like an for effort.
Yeah, that's true. I try to be nice, I guess. Do you have your upset pick, Dewey?
Yes, I've been thinking about this long and hard, and I know all the hype for Virginia Tech it got me excited, but Franklin's not the coach yet, and they got pretend coach right now, and the players still suck. Nothing's changing, so I doubt Virginia Tech's going to upset Miami. But I was looking at South Carolina and Coastal, and it breaks my heart. Statistically, Coastal is the better team. So I have to pick against the Gamecocks in this. They're at rock bottom. If you saw yesterday, Shane Beamer talking about next year we'll be in the playoffs. He should be fired for making false statements. His tenure is over. It was a desperate attempt to get the fan base riled up, but it just angered me more. And they're at rock bottom. They're not coming out of this. It's 3-9. Clemson's going to wipe the plate with them, and I have to pick against them. Even if South Carolina does win, they're not going to cover the spread of 24.5 points. They're not. It's going to be a close game. It's probably going to be like 24-28 or something like that. Oh.
Thanks, Dewey.
Hey, Dewey, are you still on the line? Dewey, I wanted to let you in on this, okay? One of our texters earlier in the show thanked us for not having on a whole bunch of local yokels on our show the way that some other stations in the market do. And I told him, look, man, we have our own local yokels, and I was thinking about you. I just want to let you know that I was thinking about you earlier, Dewey.
I'm a local yokel, and I go hooly hoo too. Oh.
Wow, bringing that out. Thanks, Dewey. 844-326-3663. Diesel, do you know what week this is, by the way?
It's the third week in November.
No, this is a lot of no spreads week. Which
means it's the SEC Southern Conference Showdown week.
Yeah, invitational. You might want to call it an invitational instead of a showdown. It's very similar to what we see, in the first few weeks of the college football season.
Yeah.
As I'm scrolling down trying to find my upset pick, and I'm looking at all these games, I have noticed, there's a lot of games this week that don't have point spreads. And South Carolina Coastal, not one of those games. Most, FBS teams are going to have a point spread. I would hate to see a day in which Coastal Carolina didn't. But you take a game like Clemson Furman, for example. FBS, FCS, Diesel, no spread. There's a lot of games this weekend with no spreads. And just goes to show there might be some blowouts. Tolos, we need your upset picks. Again, calling for 30 in this very segment at 844-326-3663. If you're new to the challenge, not too late to get in. You are looking for an underdog to outright win the game this weekend. Find it on ESPN.com. Send in your name, the game, and the spread. Diesel, are we still on the, what'd you say, Nebraska game? Is that the most popular thus far?
So far, let me see if I can do a little search here. So far, 8 Tolos have taken that game, and that is by far the most popular.
And who's the opponent?
Nebraska versus Penn State.
Oh, that's right. Why? What's the deal there?
Nebraska, they are, let me see here, because we got a lot of people texting in saying Nebraska plus 9.5. Like, I get that Dylan Raiola is out and
Yeah.
is not going to be playing, but that's nothing new, right? Like, we knew that was the case a while back. The question is, what do these Tolos think is motivating Nebraska to this point? Yeah, Penn State are 9.5-point favorites against Nebraska, and I just don't understand why that spread is as big as it is.
I hadn't looked at
without
that game.
the quarterback.
What time is that game?
That is a 7:00 kick
on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. Like, I still okay. So Nebraska's 7-3, Penn State's 4-6. Penn State, to your point, Diesel, 9.5-point home favorites. Penn State laying 9.5.
Mm-hmm.
But you're telling me the majority is on Nebraska. I guess it's a lack of confidence in Penn State, right?
I mean, I don't think it's an awful pick. It struck me as how many people took it right out of the gate this early.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I truly do believe that Penn State still, at the end of the day, regardless of everything that's happened this year, I still believe Penn State has talent on that football team. I do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That one, I might would consider it. I still have not made my. Do you have yours locked in?
I have. Mine is already locked. It's on our document that has all of the picks on it. And Cole.
All right, hold on. All right, here we go.
I am voting Cole for chaos. I think that South Carolina is going to lose to the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers plus 23.5 points. Look, Shane Beamer's already checked out on this year, Cole. Shane Beamer is thinking about 2026. His mind is currently a year from now saying, I promise you, we're going to be in the college football playoff hunt next year. I mean, how much of an idiot can you be to say those words out loud? Like, in what world is your fan base hearing that going, yeah, coach, we're going to be in the playoff next year? You just sound stupid to say that.
Oh, my gosh. We really went there, right?
Yeah.
We really went there. Diesel is going. And by the way, I have that audio. I'm pulling up that audio right now from Shane Beamer yesterday. Diesel is going with the Chanticleers. Chanticleers.
Yeah.
Over the South. I don't know, man.
I mean,
just don't know.
Are these Gamecocks players' hearts really going to be in it? You know, are they really going to be in it? I mean,
I know this sounds nuts, but I would agree with Dewey that they don't cover. That
right.
South Carolina doesn't cover.
Hey. Anything could happen. And Coastal's been in a couple of shootouts, so I wouldn't count them out. Like, let's say South Carolina gets up on them by 2 scores, 10 points, and I think South Carolina is a better football team. But this is an upset picks challenge, and I'm also trying to make my way up the leaderboard here. Okay, and I need the 23.5 points. But
make it.
That would really help. That would fix a lot of the things that ail me, Cole. It would put me right up there in the middle.
Are you going to take this from Diesel?
I'm not the only one.
Oh, really?
No.
Really?
Obviously, Dewey took that game. And let's see. Coastal.
Surely not. Don't tell me a lot of people have taken this.
I'm one
far.
of 4 who have taken this one. Trey from Kentucky, Amazon guy, has finally made his way back into the challenge, and Dewey along with myself. I can't believe I'm picking with Dewey.
I can't either. Let's go to that audio real quick that you just referenced from Shane Beamer yesterday.
I realized that 1 year ago, Rick, we were sitting here tonight getting ready to play Wofford, and we're all dialed in playoff rankings to see where we're ranked, and we're not there right now, but I do know next year at this time we're going to be sitting here next year on this Tuesday night watching the playoff rankings to see where we are in the rankings show, and we're going to be firmly in the mix for a college football playoff berth next year at this time.
I like it. Come on, Diesel. Are you kidding me?
Oh, come on. So you want a coach to blow smoke? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh,
pretty
my
much.
God. You don't want John Summerall saying we're not as good a football team as you think we are. You want Shane Beamer saying we're going to be a playoff contender next year.
You dang right. I want my coach to give me some belief. Hey, is it false hope? Maybe so. But guess what? I'm a Cowboys fan. That's all I know is
That's
false
all you
hope.
have.
That's all I know. So, yeah, if I'm a Gamecock fan, I'm like, freak yeah, let's go. We're going to be back there next year. We're going to get us a new OC. We're going to keep Clayton White. We're going to be right there. And dadgummit, I believe in Shane Beamer. I can't believe our Gamecock Tolos are letting you off the hook like this. You should be ashamed, Diesel, picking Coastal Carolina. Are you kidding me? There's no way you should do. I would be livid if I'm a Gamecock fan.
This, oh man, Cole, I didn't know this. Texter gets in and says, that's a risky upset pick, Diesel. Coastal is without their starting quarterback, Samari Collier. I did not know that, RJ. Man, I didn't know.
Is that a gut?
That
match?
sucks, but he's questionable. See, no. I think Tim Beck is over here playing four-dimensional chess. I think Samari Collier is gonna play, just like Daniel LaRusso is gonna fight. Samari Collier is gonna play. So they're just messing around with the early reports.
Now, RJ, and correct me if I'm wrong here, wasn't there and Diesel, I think we mentioned it a few weeks ago, wasn't there some quarterback switcheroo going on early in the season?
And Samari Collier is the replacement quarterback from the quarterback who struggled to start the season.
And he's been good, though, right?
Yeah.
Collier's been good. They've been really solid.
Yeah. He's not one of those guys that's going to blow you away with numbers, but with him, they play much better. They play far above the way that they did in the first half of the season.
Tolos 844-326-3663. Again, I called for 30 upset picks in this very segment, in this one segment. Again, if you're new to the challenge, we'd love to have you name, game, and the spread. You're looking for an underdog to outright win this weekend. Go on ESPN.com, find your spread. Hard Knocks gets in on the Hub City Spartan Burgers text line. He goes, Washington State over JMU. That's a 13.5-point spread, and I believe Hard Knocks is new, maybe to the game or to the challenge, rather. If you aren't, I apologize. But if you are, to Diesel's point, welcome. Let's go to the phone lines, 844-326-3663, as we're calling for upset picks. And from Summerville, South Carolina, Tom in Summerville wants to weigh in. What's up, Tom?
Hey, guys, Diesel, we can be down on the Gamecocks all year, okay, because it's just been a rough year.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to a game against an in-state rival, and yes, Coastal is an in-state rival. I don't care what anybody says.
Given how
Shane Beamer will not lose. And to those little, puppy dogs, tigers up in the upstate, you enjoy becoming bowl eligible this week against Furman. But just know, the Gamecocks still run this state, okay? Y'all didn't beat us last year, and don't think just because we've had a bad year that we forgot what happened last year. The Gamecocks run the state. We might suck in the SEC, but we run the state. And we're going to beat Coastal. We're going to get some momentum, and then we're going to give the belt to those little Clemson Tigers, and they're going to go 6-6, and then they can go play in the toilet.com bowl, and we'll get started in the portal. Okay, you can go have fun, beat up on, Cupcake State and get to 7 wins. We'll be focused on the portal and be focused on making it 3 in a row next year in Death Valley. That's all I got to say. Have fun being little brother, old Clemson fan. The Gamecocks still run the state.
Hey, Tom, can you give, and by the way, great phone call, can you give, as a diehard Gamecock, your score prediction over the next 2 weeks? If you're calling for a Gamecock win over Coastal and Clemson, you combine the two scores. What will the score be of the final 2 regular season games?
Okay, so one score. Okay.
One score, one number. So, let's say, for example, 50-25. Those are the 2 scores combined into one score. What do you think South Carolina's score? You're calling for them to win the next 2 games. What are the scores going to be? You take the 2 games and combine them into one.
48-40. Yeah, 48-40. Whoa. That's gonna be that's it. One game's gonna be closer than the other. The Clemson game's probably gonna be a little bit close, But in all seriousness, it will not surprise me if at halftime this week we're in a battle and then we pull away late.
Wow.
Gamecocks are going to show some resiliency this week. They're going to come off. They're probably going to come in a little slow, a little sluggish, and then we're going to see the second half team we did not see last week. They'll put Coastal to bed, and then that'll get them some momentum going into the Clemson game, and the Gamecocks will beat Clemson.
All right. Tom,
Wow.
thanks for the call, man.
You're on a 2-game winning streak, baby. Go
All right.
Gamecocks.
Okay, Tom. And I appreciate RJ for passing this along. See, I told you Tim Beck was playing chess over here. He said, quote, "It's hard to tell right now, but we got better news than what we thought." He also said that that there may be a scenario where he comes back. So how about that? Could see Coastal Carolina playing Samari Collier against South Carolina. And Samari even tweeted, "I'll be back soon."
Is this Samari texting the show?
I don't know.
Is he texting the show? Is Tim Beck texting the show? Are we getting inside knowledge from the coach?
I love it. I love it. You know, I'm riding a roller coaster right now. I felt a little nuts taking Coastal to win this game, and then RJ brought me down by saying their quarterback was hurt, and then RJ brought me right back up by saying, "You're telling me there's a chance."
I love this from the 387 texter says, "Gamecock fans are quite selective in which games they remember. Tell Tom to check the last 10 to 15 years in the overall record. Sit down and shut up. Still Clemson State." Wow. Tell you what.
How about it?
You can never, Tom's just the best. Getting everybody fired up. I love it, Diesel. You know what? I like the riskiness, though, in your pick. Even though there's some unsettledness, and some unsettled waters, if you will, when it comes to your pick, I like it. I really do. Hey, why is there no do you know why there's no spread on Miami, Virginia Tech?
That's a good question. Why is there no spread on VT?
Am I just missing something here? What am I missing? Is it because James Franklin was handed a headset today after his presser? ESPN.com Diesel is not showing a spread. That's the one I want. That's the game I want. I can't even take it. I think there was. Hey, you and I did early leans yesterday, and I think there was a spread. Dan B, do you have any inside knowledge from your Las Vegas bookie connections on why there's no? I don't know. Maybe my computer's
I mean, there's a
same thing?
There's a total. I'm on the ESPN scores page. There's a total, but there's no spread. Now, if you go to the schedule page, let's see if we can find it on that one. On that one, there is. You're right. It's showing an over under, but it's not showing a spread.
Really?
That's interesting.
I don't know, man. I'm not making my pick until the Vegas bookies get this thing figured out. I have no idea
what's going on over here.
What's going on?
Let's see. Tom says VT plus 17.5. I feel like I saw a spread on this game yesterday.
There was,
but currently there is not one.
That's weird.
Amazon guy says he's not seeing a spread on his version as well. See, I think when I picture Tom in Somerville, I see a guy running around in board shorts and flip-flops, Cole, with a turkey leg in one hand and a fire poker in the other one.
Wow.
Is that not a great image for Tom in Somerville? He's just running around eating chicken, firing up the Clemson fans.
He's the man. I'll tell you that. I don't know, Diesel. That's we'll keep an eye on that. I'll text my bookie in the Las Vegas underground tunnel and
this continues, Cole. Okay. I just got a screenshot from Frank Wagner, who plays the Upset Picks Challenge. He took a screenshot. It looks like he's on his phone of the spreads, and the phone app is saying there's a 17.5 point spread.
Okay.
It would be VT plus 17.5.
I don't know.
So it's not on the website, but it is on the app. Odd stuff. Yeah.
Odd. Maybe Bill Bender can help us figure it out.
When we come back, let's talk to Bill Bender, the man, the myth, the legend of the sporting news. Bill Bender next.
with Cole, Bryson, and Diesel on the Fan Upstate.
Our next guest is the textbook definition of steady Eddie. Never letting us get too high, Cole, never letting us get too low, because every time one of us gets a wild hair about a storyline, he has to bring us back to reality. Talking about Bill Bender of The Sporting News. See, spoken like somebody who's seen a thing or two, who doesn't let things take him down weird conspiracy rabbit holes. Bill, welcome into the show. You probably have heard the audio by now, but in case you haven't, we had audio earlier in the show of Shane Beamer saying at this time next year, South Carolina is going to be in the playoff hunt on a boldness scale of 1 to 1,000,000. Where is that statement?
I mean, again, I guess good lead in, because maybe they were in it last year. They're not in it this year. There's going to be 4 coaching changes in the SEC, perhaps more. There's opportunity when you have a conference that has 4 or 5 playoff berths in the cards each year, and they'll probably have 5 this year. So it didn't really register. I thought you were going to go down the path I've been on all day with Lane Kiffin, which has not been cool and calm and easy and all those things.
What's going on with Lane Kiffin? We hadn't heard. I mean, is he a good coach? What's happening? What's in the news?
Well, who knows? Other than where he's going to be coaching next year and how he fed into that, and Lane being Lane and not really offering many details today on the SEC teleconference. So, I could see a path. Here was the argument we had in the Sporting News office today. I'll take you inside that. I said if Lane Kiffin takes another job, Florida, LSU, whatever, that I don't think he would coach in the college football playoff. And that from there. But I still don't think I'm wrong. I mean, this is the SEC. You picture a scenario where a guy takes a job at another school in the SEC and continues coaching at the former school? I don't.
Good point.
It's interesting when you bring that up, Bill. I mean, we all talk about Lane Kiffin. Diesel and I talked about it earlier in the show today. Lane Kiffin, he's got the name, right? He's the sexy name in college football right now. But let me get your feedback on something I said in the last hour that, it's funny that we're having this conversation because I feel as if Lane Kiffin might be the most overhyped coach while at the same time being the most underrated coach. I mean, you talk about, what have you done for me lately? We know he wins a lot of games, but Lane Kiffin has not won or been to a college football playoff. Do you believe that Lane Kiffin, you being the focal point of the college football conversation, might be a little premature?
Well, not this one. I mean, it was James Franklin, and I would say, as I dug out, since 22, a 4-year period, they have the 7th best record among Power 4 schools, and the 6 ahead of them are, Alabama, Georgia, Oregon, Ohio State, Michigan, Notre Dame. I mean, those are the ones. Those are national title caliber programs. So he's done everything but make the playoffs. So I'll meet you halfway because I think it's a good answer. That's the good. The bad is, okay, I haven't made the playoffs. What's the signature win? You could argue you've got a lot of close losses, but is the signature win LSU this year? An underperforming LSU team? What is it? You go through all the exits. That's what I remember. I was down the rabbit hole today and watching film of Al Davis in a projector way back when he was fired with the Raiders. That's what I remember. I don't remember all the good he's done, but I remember all these bizarre exits. So in what universe, if he were to leave Ole Miss, would it not be a bizarre exit?
Bill, I had I guess maybe epiphany a couple of segments ago when it comes to Lane Kiffin. He's making $9 million up to $11.5 million this year, depending on incentives. He goes to Florida or he goes to LSU, they're probably going to bump his salary base by $1.5 million, maybe more. I don't know if they'll hit him all the way up to 11.5. But if I'm Lane Kiffin, I'm not really worried about adding a little bit to my salary. I want to know just how much institutional support I'm going to get. Can I dwarf what Texas is spending on their roster this year if I'm at LSU or if I'm at Florida. And if you can't give me that, sorry, I'm going to stay where I've already built something that is pretty special and feels like I'm right there on the brink of a college football playoff berth. I mean, what do you think is, and I know this is a tough onion to slice here, but what do you think is maybe the one thing that would change Lane's mind about leaving at all?
That's not money. It's not. It's can you win a national title or not? Well, honestly, you know what? I don't know. And I'm going to say it this way. I've read his, that day chapters of, and I don't know what's inside Lane Kiffin's mind. That's what I figured out reading those, because I'm like, I kind of live by like the Yoda do or do not. There is no try. That's just kind of real basic one pager. That's kind of my life, honestly. So there's not a lot to dig into there. I feel with like Lane Kiffin, there is far more.
Yeah,
obviously. He takes us for the ride, doesn't he? And it can all be performance art for him to just stay at Ole Miss, and we'll move on with our lives.
It's interesting, isn't it? Bill Bender of The Sporting News joining us right here on the Fan Upstate. Bill, what did you have to make today of what James Franklin said in his opening presser as the new head coach leading the Hokies?
Unsurprising that he'd take a little jab at Penn State there on the way out. I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. I do think he'll have a new identity at Virginia Tech, and he'll do well, and that program will do well. And in the wide open ACC, you can compete, and he'll be somebody that can recruit. I mean, I made the case when he was hired that, there was a point in time, late 90s, early 2000s, and the numbers back it up, the records back it up, that Virginia Tech was more of an A-list program than Penn State. Can he do that again? I don't know. I mean, when I always tell people, like, when I picture Virginia Tech at its height, it's probably the same one you guys do, Thursday night, Metallica, block punt, Michael Vick. They haven't been that in a while, though. They haven't had that identity since Beamer left. They've only had 1 10-win season since he retired. And that's something to keep in mind. James Franklin will bring some wins to that program, though. He knows how to do that.
Bill, a win is a win and a loss is a loss. I want to establish that before I say what I'm about to say. But why is Tulane beating a mediocre Duke and Northwestern, combined 10-10 between them, but getting trounced by Ole Miss and then struggling with South Alabama, more impressive than James Madison holding an average 24-point margin of victory over their conference and being tied with Louisville, a really good Louisville team, by the way, through 3 quarters? Why is Tulane getting the love and being number 24 in the country, and JMU doesn't even sniff a vote?
Great question. I have I do the weekly playoff projection, and I put James Madison in, so I'm with you. I think they handled being ranked, which was what impressed me last week. Sometimes when a Group 5 school gets ranked, they turn right back around and lose. Can't handle it. They blew out App State. And I think one loss in the Sun Belt would have a chance. Now, what they're probably thinking is this American Conference is a little convoluted. It's a lot of they've had the best conference of the G5 with all the teams, and it's a little hard to figure out who's going to win. Where Tulane's at, and you saw more crazy news today. John Summerall apparently was going to interview with Florida, but now it's reported that he's not. Just add that to the file. But I think the team to watch, honestly, believe it or not, might end up being North Texas. North Texas won loss in that conference, throws the ball all around the yard. Eric Morse, another good candidate. And I think they could end up being the team at James Madison's expense that if they go and keep winning, ends up in the college football playoff.
We're joined by Bill Bender of The Sporting News. If you have a college football-related question, get it in at 844-326-3663. What do you make of Clemson getting the Friday night win a week ago, Bill, over Louisville, and now having an opportunity to close out the season on a nice little win streak, a very rough season, a lot of turbulence for Dabo Swinney. But what do you make of the way this team could potentially end the season and then carry that over to maybe getting back to where Dabo Swinney's expected to be year in and year out?
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, he had a rough year, but you could kind of see that coming last week with Louisville, right? That And if you're in that hunt in that ACC where anybody can beat anybody, that was a tough game for Louisville. And Clemson's still going to compete. They're not going to quit with Dabo. And interesting fact, if he's retiring, if for some reason Kirk Ferentz were to retire, then Dabo would be the longest tenured coach in the Power Four. He's moving up that list. So, I think he'd be one of those guys to watch in that event. There's not a lot that have stayed as long as Dabo stayed. So, if he wants a career reset and all that, which has been, I don't think there's been anything of substance reported there, you could go that route. But to me, it's like you would, if I'm Clemson, I'm hanging on to Dabo Swinney 100%.
Bill, maybe I'm looking at this the wrong way here, but what do you make of UC Investments, the University of California system, investing or wanting to invest $2.4 billion into the Big Ten, into a conference that their namesake institution isn't even in? Michigan and USC said, pump the brakes, we're not quite ready for this. I mean, this is, in my mind, that's a massive conflict of interest, no?
Oh, yeah, I don't know what they're going to do with that. I know they made Michigan angry, and Michigan started, one of their regents went out and started threatening independence in 2036, which is timely anyway for those of us history nerds that have been watching the Ken Burns American Revolution on PBS. Awesome stuff, by the way. So I hope it doesn't go down that route. I hope that, but the Michigan stuff and the USC stuff, to me, down that kind of investment, and they thumb their nose at their conference like that, it's another one of those like early warning signs for Super League to me. If we don't have to do that, we can go independent. Once schools start thinking about that, then those bunch of schools are going to get together. You know what I mean? And that's a conspiracy theory for you, but not all that far from the truth, in my opinion.
Bill, are you a big documentary conspiracy theory guy?
I'm not a conspiracy theory guy. I am a big Ken Burns fan.
Okay.
I mean, I probably watched the Civil War and the Vietnam War documentaries too many times to count. And, this one, the last, I'm behind because I'm obviously busy with college football here, but started watching the first episode last night. It makes you sad in some ways that somebody can tell a story that much better than you when it's your job to tell stories. But Ken Burns is absolutely phenomenal.
Bill, last week I was laid up sick. I didn't come to work on Monday, and Tuesday was a holiday, so it was great timing for me to get a day off there. But, I kind of went down the rabbit hole of Westerns, and I love Westerns that are, or anything really that's kind of based in some reality, but then it goes into its own sort of dramatic directions. Do you like more true cut and dry documentaries, or do you like stuff that kind of takes its own liberties, like this Murdoch show that's been crushing it on Hulu?
I need to watch that next, by the way. That's on the queue. This time of year is tough to watch a lot of TV, but I do have that wind down, got to watch this, and I definitely want to check that out. And I do like those kind of shows that kind of take the, they take you down the history. I did watch the was Killed by Lightning, something like that. It was about James Garfield and Gateau, James Garfield, an Ohio president, by the way. It was how riveting it was, but the acting throughout it was incredible. So I do like shows like that, to answer your question.
So Bill Bender, a guy in Columbus, Ohio, is familiar with a Murdaugh, the Hulu. I mean, are you kidding me? That that's right here in South Carolina. That was the biggest thing ever here. I'm just surprised to hear. Maybe I'm in my bubble and didn't realize that it's that popular, Bill.
Well, my wife was, when I lived in Charlotte, my wife was a sports and cops reporter in South Carolina. So
wow.
I mean, we're familiar with that scene. And any time there's a story from South Carolina or North Carolina, I did live in the area for 7 years, and I didn't live in South Carolina, but like I said, had a wife that worked in the state, and we were in Rock Hill quite a bit on high school football nights and those kind of things.
Yeah.
So we still, if there was one steady Eddie show. It kind of brings everything full circle that we watch in this house. We've always watched Law and Order and true crime type documentaries. So when we have time, when it's not college football season, of course.
I love it.
All right, Bill, it's that time. We need your upset pick.
Oh, I'll go a light one. It's light, but I like kind of like Pitt against Georgia Tech. I think Pitt comes out and that Georgia Tech defense has been suspect the last 2 weeks. I think it's only like 2 or 3 point spread, but I got to win one here, so I'm going to try and go low there.
You are at 7.5 points, by the way, Bill. I just topped you now. I got you by half a point. I have 8, and Cole has 16.
Well, we'll have to get a couple here. Maybe I'll take a big swing on Roger.
That's right.
Who knows?
There you go.
Always appreciate you, Bill. We'll talk to you next week.
Hey, thank you. Take care.
Bill Bender, the Sporting News. He's the best, and a lot of fun. So you're bragging about having a half a point more than Bill Bender. Is that where you are?
Hey, he is a professional, Cole. Okay, I'll take anything I can get. If you're find me an NBA player that is 5'11.5", and I will tell you I got a half an inch on an NBA player.
There you go. Final segment of the show coming your way, Tolos, because Dan Scott, he's chomping at the bit. He's ready. Furman Hoops tonight. Pre-game at 6, and we'll close things out with you next, right here on the Fan Upstate.
The Rich Eisen Show.